I'm going to spend a few minutes walking through the COYOTE Outdoor Living 36-inch built-in charcoal grill so you can decide if it's worth the space in your kitchen or patio and, more importantly, if it actually solves the everyday frustrations that come with cooking over charcoal. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you're standing in front of a grill that promises premium 304 stainless steel and adjustable dampers, it's easy to wonder whether those buzzwords translate into real-world convenience or just a glossy marketing sheet. That hesitation is what most of us feel before we click add to cart, the risk of buying a grill that looks great on paper but ends up being a chore to light, a nightmare to clean, or simply too finicky for the way we actually cook. First off, let's talk about the core problem many home grill owners hit: temperature control. With a traditional charcoal grill, you're constantly guessing whether a few extra briquettes will push the heat up enough for a quick sear or whether you need to close the lid a little longer to get a gentle, indirect bake. The COYOTE model tries to take the guesswork out of that equation with two separate controls. The first is an adjustable damper system that regulates airflow through the firebox. In practice, turning the damper a notch or two lets you coax the coals to stay low for a slow-roasted chicken, while opening it wide cranks up the flame for a steak that needs that sear. I've seen people try to achieve the same effect by manually stacking coals or adjusting the vent on their old grills, and it's a lot more fiddly. Here, the damper feels solid, and because it's built into the stainless steel frame, it doesn't wobble over time. The second control is the height-adjustable charcoal tray. Raising the tray lifts the coals farther from the cooking surface, effectively lowering the temperature without you having to toss more charcoal. Lowering it brings the heat up quickly, which is handy when you need a burst of high heat for a short period. In the kitchen I tested, moving the tray a few inches made a noticeable difference. No need to open the lid and fan the fire, which usually blows away flavor-carrying smoke. Now, who actually benefits from those two knobs? If you're someone who likes to experiment with different cooking styles, say, you grill burgers one night, smoke ribs the next, and maybe finish a pizza on a stone the weekend after, that level of temperature flexibility is a real advantage. The adjustable damper and tray give you a range that covers low and slow to high heat searing without having to buy a separate smoker or add-on. It also suits households that cook for larger groups. The 36-inch cooking surface accommodates a decent number of items side by side. You can lay out a rack of chicken thighs, a couple of veggie skewers, and still have room for a few burgers. For families that like to keep the kids at the table while the food cooks, that extra real estate means less juggling. Conversely, if your grilling habit is limited to the occasional hot dog or you only fire up a grill once a month, the extra controls might feel like over-engineering. You'll spend a few minutes learning how the dampers affect temperature, and if you never need that precision, you may find the learning curve unnecessary. Also, the built-in design assumes you have a dedicated space, either a countertop niche in a covered outdoor kitchen or a sturdy deck that can support a 36-inch unit with a weight that runs close to 80 pounds once the charcoal and tray are loaded. If you're looking for a portable, freestanding grill that you can take to a campsite, this isn't the right fit. Let's dig into the material claim. The body is constructed from 304 stainless steel. That grade is the same one you see on commercial kitchen equipment and marine applications, so corrosion resistance is not just a buzzword here. In a coastal region where salty air can turn regular steel a reddish brown within months, the COYOTE grill held its shine after a couple weeks of exposure to sea breezes. The steel also gives the unit a solid heft that prevents it from wobbling when you're flipping a big slab of pork. The downside is the weight itself. It's not a piece you can casually move around. If you need to shift the grill for cleaning or seasonal storage, you'll likely need at least 2 people or a dolly. The design doesn't include built-in wheels, so that's a practical limitation to consider. Cleaning is another area where the built-in design both helps and hurts. Because the charcoal tray slides out, you can dump ash without having to tip the whole grill. The tray's adjustable height means you can lower it to the bottom of the firebox for easier access when it's full of ash, then raise it back up when you're ready to cook again. The stainless steel interior doesn't develop the patina that cast iron grills sometimes do, which makes wiping down grease a straightforward task. However,